Hi guys, welcome to another 2-minute devotion with Dad. This one is going to hurt, I'm sorry. Once again, not my words, but those of Jesus. If you want to keep feeling good about yourself, just skip this one. If you want to learn something and grow, then keep listening. So Jesus is finished talking about, or he's just finished attacking or counter-attacking, answering the Pharisees with their questions, and then he goes on this massive 1-chapter rant about I suppose people call it the 7 woes, the woes against the Pharisees. And let's just go through them a bit, because there's a lot in here. It on the surface it looks like he's just having a go at them just for what they do against what they say. I think there's more to it than this. So he says, do what they say, but don't do what they do. Don't let anyone call you rabbi. And then he says here, what sorrow awaits you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, hypocrites! You shut out the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You won't go in yourselves, and you won't let others enter. It's like they're denying the truth, and they have a separation from God due to fear of the unknown. And they're just not addressing fear, what they don't know. And that's counteractive to what God says. God says, fear not, and come to me. And they're not doing it, and now they're not letting others do it either. What sorrow awaits you? You cross the land and sea to make one convert, and then you turn that person into twice the child of hell that you are. And it's like, it's not enough for them to be running away. They want to take people with them. And it's like, I don't know if anyone's ever be caught in the act of doing something wrong that they know is wrong, and so rather than be told upon, they convince that person to join them, and now they both share a secret. It's kind of like that kind of thing, I reckon, where now they're both guilty. They've actually attracted that person into their own sin, and now they both have to hide. And that's what I think it's what Jesus is talking about here. What sorrow awaits you, it means nothing to swear by God's temple. And he goes about, they swear by the smaller things, but not by the larger. And they've just forgotten that they're denying authority here. They're just refusing to acknowledge the authority that comes from God, a higher being or a higher power. And they're trying to make their own authority underneath that by which to swear, but they're actually denying the source of their authority in the first place. And so they're just completely denying God's power and place in heaven over them as people. And they're trying to make smaller things that don't count if they're not going to acknowledge the larger. And then, careful to tithe even the tiniest income from your herb gardens, but you ignore the more aspects of the law: justice, mercy, and faith. And now he just calls it straight what it is. They're making sure to get the smallest bit out of physically, but they're forgetting principle. Why bother with the physical aspects if you're not going to do principally what is correct? And this is what God is all about. You go through the Old Testament. These are the 3 things really that God is on about when he gives the law. So they're just ignoring principle here. I love that you strain the water to not swallow a gnat but swallow a camel. These were both, in my notes it says they're both impure. So they're both, what's the word? I forget where it is. They were unclean. And so they try to not swallow a gnat because it's unclean. But then the whole camel, which is full of gnats anyway, is unclean, and they swallow that. So they just got it wrong. They're all backwards. What sorrow awaits you? You are careful to clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but you are full inside, filthy, full of greed and self-indulgence. Doesn't that one hurt? These are the 2 biggest things. If ever we think about why we do what we do when it's selfish, these are the things. It's greed and self-indulgence. If we were to boil everything that we do down for ourselves, it's these 2 things. And Jesus hits it right on the head. And for me personally, that hurts to read. And it's hard to acknowledge, but it's true. Everything we do, we are selfish people. And selflessness is what helps really people come to see and experience God through us. And so that is a really hard hitting one. Sorrow awaits you, like whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside but filled with death on the inside. So it's Jesus is talking about holding on to things that keep us dying on the inside rather than living. It looks like we're living on the outside, but actually we're holding on to things that are not good for us. And Jesus came to cleanse us, to wash us clean from the inside. And all these things are the exact opposite. The next one, you build tombs for your for the prophets that your ancestors killed, but then you say, if we would live back then, we wouldn't have done that. So they're actually denying, they're refusing to acknowledge wrong. They're basically just denying the fact that something bad happened and not taking responsibility for it. Because even though they didn't physically do it, their ancestors did. They're not owning that, their heritage. They're not acknowledging their sinful heritage. And so once again, it's a form of, I don't know if pride is the word, denial. They're not acknowledging that which that has been done wrong, to ask for forgiveness. So when you look at the principle of all of these things, this is why Jesus was having a massive go at these guys. They're full of, and the word is hypocrisy. And there's a whole different devotion in that word, actually, because something I discovered in my notes and in the root word of hypocrisy. But the Pharisees were just completely backwards in their approach to the law. And Jesus came to uproot that. And the way he addresses these people, he is absolutely fed up. And this is all sparked, don't forget, by him talking with them directly and answering these questions about Jesus' power and where he gets his authority. And they couldn't answer his questions, but Jesus could answer theirs. So once again, this is a very sombering one for us. This is Jesus' words. These are not mine. These are my interpretations, yes, of these things. But when you read this for what it is, read it for yourself and think about the concept that Jesus is talking here. Think about why he's picking out these things. Why does he pull out greed and self-indulgence? Why does he pull out the justice, mercy, and faith? Why does he talk about leading people astray? He is really specific with what he says here, and the only thing we can do is read, listen, and learn, and examine ourselves, and then ask for forgiveness. It's all about God forgiving us, and if we're not willing to ask, he can't forgive. How I've wanted to gather your children together as a hen protects her chicks beneath her wings, but you would not let me. That hurts his heart. It breaks his heart. So let us think about this and examine ourselves. Only you can do that for you. I have to do that for me. And let's just commit to doing something different about it, how we do things, and hopefully change the ways that we do things every day, every moment, because of why we do things, not just the fact that we want to look good on the outside. Told you it would hurt. Sorry about that. Not really. Bless you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you the next one. Bye.